we need to find the length of AC and find the length of BC. Just a quick review of geometry. The capital letters here are angles. Everyone say angles. So I can say something like angle A is 28 degrees. I can also say angle BAC is also 28 degrees. Here, AC is a line segment. Capital letters are telling me from here. You'll notice that you have two variables in lowercase letters. These are sides. Everyone say sides. Did you notice from across angle A, capital B, across, or the opposite side, is a lowercase b. And you'll notice that across the capital A is a lowercase a. So from the angle opposite, you have the side. Okay? Find the length of AC. The first thing I'm going to do is we wrote down some steps. I have missing sides, and I have an angle. Let me do a quick think out loud. I cannot use Pythagorean theorem. I can't use Pythagorean theorem because Pythagorean theorem says I need two sides of a right triangle to find the third side. Now, this is not a special right triangle. This is not a 45, 45, 90, or 36, 90. So I can't use the property that those are equal. So what do I use? I can use trig. I can use SOHCAHTOA. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label the sides O, H, and A. Remember, your starting point to label these, put your finger on it, is the angle. This is your starting point, and this tells you how to label the sides. Here I have the opposite. Across the 90-degree angle, I have the hypotenuse, and then the last side is called the adjacent. Number 2, determine the trig ratio given the sides. So let's pretend I want to solve for A here. So let's just kind of cover that up. Let's just say we don't know that, right? I have something here, so I have the hypotenuse. That means I'm going to either use sine or cosine. I'm not going to use tangent. I also, let's just say I want to solve for this side. So I have the opposite. So I have the opposite and the hypotenuse. Put your finger on the trig ratio. The trig ratio is going to be sine. Sine of an angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Again, let's just say there's nothing there. I want to solve for A. I have the opposite side of this angle, and I have the hypotenuse. Now I'm just going to fill in the information. This is an angle, so I'm going to put a little angle symbol to help you remind you. So this angle is 28 degrees. You're always going to put a trig ratio and then an angle. And then I have the opposite over the hypotenuse. So let's go ahead and substitute that in. The opposite side is A, so this is a length of A measured in meters. So I'm just going to put the variable A. And then the hypotenuse, which is 17. Class, how do you make sine of 28 a fraction? I'm going to put over 1. Partner B tell partner A, how do you solve proportions? One, two, three. We're going to cross multiply. So essentially I'm getting 1 times A, which is just A, and this is going to be 17 times sine of 28. Now, I have seen some crazy things, so just let me show you all the crazy things I've seen. I've seen students multiply 17 times 28. That would be wrong. So use your parentheses. 17 times that parentheses. And what you have here now is a calculator-ready equation. I'm actually knowing what you're actually going to put into your calculator. I give you partial credit. So let's take out our calculator. I have that in degrees. My calculator is in radian mode, so I'm going to change it back into degrees. I'm going to type in 17 parentheses sine of 28. Notice how I had to use one set of parentheses for times, and then it automatically opened one, so I want two more to close it. Now it tells me to round to the nearest meter. Nearest meter is a decimal or not? No, that's a whole number. So they don't want any change. They want dollar bills, so A is equal to 8. Let's do the same thing on the next problem. Find the length of BC to the nearest meter. Did I do the wrong one? I did. I switched them. We solved for the letter A, and that was length BC. I mixed it up. So this one is AC. Find the length of AC, which is the variable B. So, let's see if I can cover this up. Let's pretend that this part is not here. That was the last problem, right? Let's say your triangle looks simply like this. I'm starting at this angle. I've already labeled the sides. This is the opposite adjacent hypotenuse. Partner B, whisper to partner A the trig ratio you will use based on these two sides, A and H. Let me show you guys another way I'm going to figure out the answer. Let's just say again this was blank. That's just opposite side. There's nothing there. There's no variable. There's no number. So I don't have opposite. So I can cross off the trig ratios that have O in it. I have just A and H, so I'm going to be using cosine. Cosine of an angle equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. The other person, tell the other person, how would you fill in the blank A and H? 10 seconds, go. Class, what goes in the blank? So you're always having an angle. So 28 degrees. Class, what is our adjacent? Yeah, don't get confused. That's a variable B measured in meters. So you just put the variable B in your hypotenuse. 17. Now, essentially what I'm doing here, if you make that a fraction, you cross multiply. Really what I'm doing is just multiplying by 17 on both sides. Does that make sense? Now, they will get more complicated where the variable is on the denominator, and I would still encourage you to cross multiply. Here's my calculator ready equation. B equals 1 times B, and then 17 times cosine of 28 degrees. There is our CRE, calculator ready equation. Punch it in. Teach you a trick on your calculator. If you see the word entry by enter, that's just copy and pasting what you have above. So I'm going to press second enter. What did I say, class? And what that did is then I can just go over here and change cosine. I don't know if that's any faster. B is equal to what? 15. So, two problems using our trig ratios to solve for a missing side. We follow these steps over here. And something really practical that might help you is if you have an eraser or something small, sometimes you can just cover up parts that you don't need for that particular problem.